Well, hello there and welcome to today's video. In today's video, has your company started to actually grow and look outside the UK? Are you starting to think about multi-currency for your business and taking it that one step further? Well, if you are, then stay tuned, because in this video, we're going to cover how to look at multi-currency within QuickBooks Online, which I think is a really important skill to understand with QuickBooks, because actually it does a lot of the hard work for you as long as you follow some of the rules and regs that are involved. So my name is Aaron Patrick. Let's go and have a look. Stay tuned for this one. And let's see how QuickBooks Online deals with multi-currency. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I'm a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, and also head of accounts here at Bookkeeping. Now, today we have a very interesting one for you. We're going to be talking about multi-currency, and in particular how QuickBooks handles multi-currency and what is needed. Now, first of all, little disclaimer of how to get multi-currency turned on. You need to be making sure that you are on the highest version of QuickBooks Online. So you need to be on that Plus version. If you're on Plus version of QuickBooks Online, and by the way, if you need to get to Plus version and you want to save some money on it, use the link down below, go over to Bookkeeping's e-store and then get you a nice little cheeky discount on it as well. But if you are going to make sure you upgrade it, the best thing about QuickBooks Online is upgrading the software. It's so simple. It's literally you start paying that extra for the Plus version and all those bells and whistles come on and can be utilized. Now, there are a few things you have to be remembering about multi-currency, and that unfortunately is the fact that once you've turned multi-currency on, you can't turn it off, which means you do lose currently some features. And at the time of recording, that includes the cash flow forecasting tool. So if you're using that cash flow forecasting tool, you might want to consider using another option to get your multi-currency sorted. If though you're ready to take that leap of faith and you're ready to deal with multi-currency, then this video is just for you. Let's have a look. Okay, we're going to go straight into it. So first of all, let's figure out how you did turn on. Now, I've already turned multi-currency on in this particular file, but all I did was on my company cog, accounting settings, advanced, and from there I went to currency just down here. Now, you will have the opportunity to turn it on if you've not turned it on yet, but what it will do is go through that disclaimer that I just said about the fact you can't turn it back off again. So just go through that disclaimer, make sure you're happy with it, and then if you are, you're good to go. Okay, multi-currency is turned on. Now, one way to find out if currency is turned on really easily is if you do go to your company cog, look at your list section, you'll notice there's the option here that says currencies. That's basically, if I click into it, the simplest way to understand which currencies you are dealing with. And you can add as many currencies as you want. This will update automatically for you and keep everything up to date. But you just add currencies if you need to, or just start utilizing currencies within QuickBooks Online. So what has multi-currency actually done for you? Well, let's have a look. Basically, what's happened is if I go into my chart of accounts, I now have a new currency mode just here. And what that means is that some of these accounts are now going to be shown in different currency. Got GBP, USD, Euro, etc. And that makes it really easy to deal with multi-currency, because obviously your home currency, which in our case is GBP, will be your primary currency. That's going to work just as it has done always in QuickBooks Online. But now when we look through it, all of these GBPs, these USDs, these Euros are all going to be shown in their individual currencies and going to be revalued to GBP valuations for you, so that when you do a set of accounts or anything, all the complications already dealt with for you. All you've really got to deal with is making sure that you're dealing with those individual transactions in a sensible way. If I go to my sales and go to customers, you'll see the same things happened. And now I get to define if my customer is a GBP, a USD, a Euro, whatever it's going to be. And when I go to create a new customer, the first question I'm asked at the top is what currency it relates to, making sure that I understand exactly how to deal with with multi-currency. So for example, QuickBooks is clever enough that if I wanted to create an invoice using my US dollar customer, well, that's going to be dead straightforward, and it's going to automatically put everything into dollars for me and going to tell me what the expected GBP value is going to be, and really make all the complication as simple as possible. You see, that's what this is all about. It's about making it so that multi-currency is as simple as choosing what your customer or supplier relates to, what your bank relates to in terms of currency, And then QuickBooks will automatically do the cleverness of having to deal with multi-currency in terms of conversion rates, in terms of profit and loss on exchange rates, all of those complicated things that people find really tricky with multi-currency. Well, QuickBooks Online is going to deal with that for you. Let's see exactly what we mean by making it dead straightforward. So as a straightforward look at this one, if I go to my banking page, you'll see that I have two bank accounts, a business bank account and a US dollar bank account just there. Now you can see here, I've transferred over £2,500 of US dollars from this account to my to my US dollar account. Now it's important to note that basically if I was to transfer this anywhere else, so maybe I went to petty cash, I lose that extra functionality. The second though I choose that I want to transfer from a GBP to a USD account, I get this wonderful currency conversion here. And QuickBooks will automatically apply a currency conversion based on the information that it's downloaded. Now I can just agree on that one and just add that one if I wanted to. Or I can override this figure because I know that 2,500 is what actually was sent over. And if I was to override that figure, it'll change the currency rate and it'll just post it beautifully for me. In this case though, let's pretend I didn't know about that 2,500. I know that that's not quite right, okay? But don't worry, this is where QuickBooks becomes really clever, because instead of you having to worry about changing conversion rates and all that sort of complicated stuff, just let QuickBooks hold the line for you. Let's see what happens if I just post this and see what happens on the other side. So if I was to override it, put 2,500, it'll update that for me and I can press add. And then as soon as I go to US dollar account, it will find that match. But that's all good and well if you know the amount. But what about if you didn't know the amount? Or what if you were a little bit struggling to understand exactly what that conversion rate should have been? Well, don't worry, let QuickBooks help you on this one. So I'm going to go to US dollar, and this time I'm going to transfer first of all from my US dollar to my GBP. Again, I don't know what the GBP equivalent is at this point. I'm just letting QuickBooks decide based on the exchange rates. It's found $2,500, it's converted it to this amount of GBP. Let's press add. So because I've gone first from the US dollar into my UK account, I have some extra functionality. So I go to my business bank account, I click into the item and I do find match. Because again, it can't find it straight away because it's expecting 1,910 and we put £1,976 or whatever the equivalent was. But if I go to find match and I change to foreign currency, suddenly it's going to start thinking about what's happening here. And instead of it using the exchange rate that QuickBooks thought it was, it's now going to override the exchange rate to this 0.764, giving me the exchange rate that it's expecting. I press save. Everything's now clean and tidy. It's now reinstated everything to how it should be. So in QuickBooks Online, if you start with the foreign currency account and transfer into your UK account, you'll get more features to be able to go through. Let's have a look at some other options like this. Another option is this Euro customer account. Now again, if I start in my foreign currency and then go back to GBP, it's going to make my life easier. So I'm going to go to sales and I'm going to go find my customer, Euro. I know I've received some money here. I know I've received some money and I'm actually open 1,000 euros. And I'll look through my books or whatever I need to do and I'll realise that actually I've received that full amount of 1,000 euros. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this as paid. So I'm going to go and say that this was paid against my GBP account. I'm going to say my date was, well, I don't know my date, but let's just say it's the end of November, end of September at this point, and press save and close. Now, again, on that transfer and on that payment, all QuickBooks is doing is it's marking this euros as paid in euros. So now I don't owe anything to euros. And it's giving me a GBP equivalent just here. So first of all, it's going to calculate any gains or losses between the date that we raised the invoice and the date we paid it, based on the conversion rates that it's already downloaded. Now, those conversion rates downloaded doesn't necessarily mean that that's exactly what's happening in the real world, because it's up to us how much we exchange that money for based on what platform we use and who we're dealing with at the time. So if I was to then go into my banking and I look at it and I look at my Euro customer, I can again use that find match option. From the find match option, I can go to foreign currency And here I know I've got that euro dollar there of £1,000, sorry, 1,000 euros that's been received. Originally we thought it was 860, but actually it was £848. And again, don't worry about it. QuickBooks is going to redo the calculation, reconvert everything and put it in there for you. So as soon as I press save, it's now restated everything and it's made it really easy for me now to deal with multi-currency. So let's do the same, but this time I've got the US dollar that I've received. Now the difference in this one is it's not just that I've received £770 in the equivalent US dollars, but I've had to incur a fee to get there. So you know how normally if we got a fee in bold, we'd probably want to use the split functionality and split that down. We're not going to have that option here. So instead of using the split option, what I'm going to do is the same as before. I'm going to make sure I deal with the foreign currency first. So I go to US dollar, I go receive payment. I know I've received the full £1,000 of dollars. Again, it's figured out the equivalent GBP for me. It's done that complicated bit for me. It's done everything nice. All I'm doing is saying that this person, this customer, doesn't owe me anymore. I'm also going to make sure that this goes to undeposited funds. Now, the reason I put it to undeposited funds is because I want to deal with this in a different way. And that's because I want to use my bank deposit. I know the money's gone into the bank, but I know that it's not just that one amount that's gone in. We've got a fee as well to take into account. So I go into here, I drop that down and go to US dollars. I know that this US dollar has been paid, so that's my first step. I know that's happened. I'm going to say that it was paid into my business bank account. We've seen that, and I'm going to put the date again was 30th of the 9th. But let's just assume that it was maybe a little bit later. Let's assume that it was, say, the 15th was when we finally went and deposited it. Now at this point, all I know is I've got to add some extra funds, and I've got some third-party charges I can put this against. I know this is the conversion fee, and I know that the amount was -15 and it was exempt from VAT. So at this point now, I've accounted for that $15. I've got this going through, meaning that now it's expecting £718.76. But again, don't worry, trust the system. I press save and close. I go into my bank account. I go here, now notice it's 770, don't worry, fine match. I'm going to say that it was foreign currency. It's going to find that £718, and now I know it's going to convert it to the correct rate, the rate I know that it's going to be right, meaning I can save that, save and close it, job done. So far, what we've learned is that if you're dealing with multi-currency, always deal with the foreign currency first. Let QuickBooks put a good estimate into what it believes that currency is going to be. Let it do the hard work for you. And then when you come to reconciling your bank, make sure you go in, find match, find in foreign currency. And then when you select whatever that transaction is, it will then reconvert the currency to exactly what it should be. And keeping doing that same routine, even with foreign fees, even with all those complications that's going through, just doing that makes a lot more sense and keeps it clean and tidy so that you can get on with doing the bookkeeping and keeping your business on track. But doing it this way means I haven't had to worry once about the profit and loss on foreign exchange or anything like that. All I'm having to worry about at this point is making sure I'm following those steps, dealing with the foreign currency first before I deal with the actual amount that's coming to my bank account. Now, everything so far has been a lot more simplified because we're utilising what we call our home currency. Remember when I said at the beginning that when you choose to become multi-currency, you have to say that you're happy that you can never turn it off again. One of the other things you can't change is also your home currency. Now, in my situation with GBP, that's absolutely fine. And if I'm paying a Euro customer or a US customer or any other currency in GBP, as you can see, QuickBooks is dealing with a complication for me. Unfortunately though, if I then choose anything outside of GBP, so if I've got a US customer being sending money to a Euro bank account, for example, it won't understand the conversion rates. So my pro tip at that is to actually make sure that at some point GBP is included. Let's have a look and show you exactly what I mean. So for me to use a GBP account, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my Contra account just here. Now this Contra account is in pound coins. Therefore, if I'm utilizing maybe a euro account or a dollar account, as long as I'm using this Contra account, the conversion rate is going to be sorted for me. So let's have a look and see what's happening here. So I'm going to say that in our bank account, in our sales and in our expenses and our suppliers, let's say we do have a euro supplier. And we're going to make the payment, and we're going to make sure that all of these have been paid. Now the complication of this is that it's not been paid in euros, it's been paid in dollars. So 2,000 euros paid by $2,000, I'm going to struggle to be able to figure that out. In fact, if I try to put this to my euro account, not going to understand, it's not going to be able to figure it out. If I try and put it to my US dollar account, it's not going to like it, doesn't know how to change the equivalent, it's only looking at the GBP variety. But when I go to Contra account, it knows then what the figure's going to be. So let's say that this was, again, now 30th the 9th, 21 as the period. It's changed my currency. I can press save and close. So on my ledger account, on my control account, my euro supplier has now been marked as paid. We're now not showing that we owe anything else to the euro supplier. But when I go to my banking and I go to my US dollar account, I can see that I made a payment to my euro supplier. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this to my Contra account. And again, let QuickBooks figure out all the complications, all that sort of stuff, and press add. So at this point, if I go to my dashboard and I go to my Contra account, you'll notice that both ends of this have been dealt with. My bank account has put it to the Contra account. My paying my supplier has also gone to the Contra account. And we've let QuickBooks do its thing and tried to figure it out, the equivalent of what GBP to USD and Euro to GBP is. Now in this case, we're left with a residue amount of £25.55. But that's not a problem. All that is, if I go to an expense, put 30th the 9th, 21, I can put £25.55, exempt VAT code, or even no VAT really, because it's no VAT whatsoever on this one. And then what I really should be doing here is posting this against exchange gain or loss. I can then press save. That's put my ending balance down to 0, which is perfection in my case. And then all that's meant for me is that I've now basically reinstated the conversion that's happened. And now my dashboard is showing a Contra account of 0. So using a Contra account, you can put those items in and then you know that the difference is going to be exchange rate. So as long as there's no fees involved, there is, post a fee there as well, maybe 15 euros, whatever it's going to be. But then you can then see whatever's left over, and that's going to be a difference in your exchange rate. And basically the difference between going from euro to GBP to GP to euro, instead it's just USD to euro or euro to USD, whichever way around it is. But as you can see, it's so much more simplified by using that Contra account, because you're letting QuickBooks do the hard work again. It's posting what it thinks the exchange rates are, it's trying to figure them out, and it's basically giving you that difference so that you can then post what the actual exchange rate was. And basically then, if I go to my reports and I look at my profit and loss account, you'll see that exchange rate here of £75.11 has been generated. And that's because it's taken into account all those transactions we've just done, looked at when we purchased or when we sold the service or item to when we paid for it or received the money, looked at the difference between and calculated how much we've either gained or lost during that period. That's the hard bit. If I was trying to do that manually, there's going to be a lot of work involved. But as you can see, all I was doing my normal bookkeeping in QuickBooks and letting QuickBooks decide what my exchange rate thing was. It's going to make my life so much easier by utilizing this process. Final bit just to make you aware of, if you go to currencies, you do have the opportunity to revalue the currency at any point. If you do that, maybe it's because you want to revalue before you post to statutory accounts so that they are in the value that HMRC wants to see them at, for example. Doing that, all that does, if I go back to that report, so I've already done it once, that's what's generated my unrealized gain or loss, because I have a gain and loss that's been generated because I've got cash that's been moving from what my perceived value was going to be to the new value because of the fact that we've had an exchange rate flux, but I haven't realized yet because I haven't exchanged it to GBP. hence why it's unrealized gain or loss there. Another complication when dealing with multi-currency that really thankfully QuickBooks Online can do for you, because it can make your life easier by just getting it done. You know, all I did was revalue it. QuickBooks did the complicated bit for me, figured it out. And there we have it. Multi-currency in QuickBooks Online, including some really obscure options there and problems that you might face while doing multi-currency. But just be aware that it's actually working really, really well. The golden rule is utilize that multi-currency first. So make sure that your supplier or customer is in that multi-currency that you're dealing with. Then you can move it to the GBP equivalent, so into whatever bank or whatever things you want to go through. And then at that point, you're just going to use find and match, churn it over to foreign currency, and all the hard work's going to be done. Your exchange gain or loss is going to be worked out for you, and also you're going to make sure it's dead straightforward. I love multi-currency in QuickBooks Online. It's one of the reasons why I'm so invested in the QuickBooks universe, because it just made multi-currency just work instead of having that complication I was having using other software. But what do you think? Is multi-currency something that you're utilizing a lot? Have you had any other problems that you need solving in there? Drop us a comment down below. You know, we always love to go through those comments. We try and answer every single one. If we don't answer you directly via comment, keep an eye on this channel, make yourself subscribed and all that sort of stuff, because we tend to go through and do comments and questions on one of the video roundups during the year. Speaking of which, make sure you please do like this video, subscribe to the channel, all of that stuff. You know, for a small channel like myself, it makes a huge difference for interactions. It puts us through that algorithm, gives us a chance for more eyeballs to get on this video, meaning more people should be able to get to grips with how multi-currency works within QuickBooks Online. My name has been Aaron Patrick. It has been an absolute pleasure to do this video for you. Please do comment below if there's anything else you want to see about multi-currency, or if there's anything else that's really you're struggling with QuickBooks Online at the moment. I am the QuickBooks chap, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. I told him I can be a fighter if you want. I'll be there to catch you if you fall. I can make it brighter when it starts. I told him I would do it all for you, and I know you do it for me too. I can be a fighter if you want. Yeah, I can be a fighter. I can be a fighter if you want. I can be a fighter if you want. All the way that I feel, yeah, I know that it's real, 'cause I can get him out of my head. I don't care what we do, everything's feeling new. Even if we stay in bed, my heart is saying yeah. You know I want him nah. My heart is saying yeah. Hello and thank you for watching that video. What you may not know is this channel that you've watched this video from is part of a wider group. That wider group is called Apple Core Production, and the 3 channels that we have involved are as follows: Aaron Patrick the QuickBooks Chat, Boffix Tax Tip. Finally, we have Apple Core Live and Geeky. All the links and everything are down below in the description, but it really means a lot to us if you can go and give a like to the other channels as well.